them. You're going to feel like you want to live like them. You want to copy them. You want to do everything that they do. And that's what people do, man. At the end of the day, that's what the so-called blacks are doing. You see, they paint their hair blonde, right? You see how people, they paint their hair blonde, right? Paint their hair green, blue. Some want to have sex with the dogs. Some want to commit adultery. The list goes on, man. Right? Right? YouTube, disclaimer, the music, if you have music in the background, it is not our music. YouTube, disclaimer, if you have music in the background, YouTube is not our music, all right? We are not playing the music, and we do not own the music. All right, we just want to put out there for YouTube. Let's continue to say, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose name were not written in the book. You see, that's why you don't want to wonder. You don't want to lust after Esau, Edom. Don't follow the way of Esau, Edom, because that's what we're reading. He said, the people that are going to follow the way of Esau, Edom, you follow the way of America, you follow the way of the so-called white people. The Bible says your name are not written in the book of life. You want me to read it to you again? Let me read it to you again. Let me read it to you slowly. I'm going to read it slowly, all right? So it won't be like I'm making enough, okay? He said, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose name were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet it is. It is. So you got to understand. Don't follow the way of Babylon the Great. If you following the way of Babylon the Great, you might want to double check your own self. Right? You got to examine yourself to make sure that, hey, yo, bro, listen, hey, I don't know. You doing that, that means your name is not written in the Bible. I mean, in the book of life. I mean, the book of life, you got to keep in mind, brother. That's why we tell the brother, don't follow the way of Esau. Right? Because you keep on doing that, the Most High will erase your name from the book of life and put you in the book of destruction. We don't want that for the brother. We don't want that for the sister. But it's up to the brother and the sister whether they want to follow the Most High or not. We don't force you. It's up to the brother and the sister whether they want to believe in the Most High. Right? That's what we're reading right now. That's what we're reading right now. We're reading right now that those that wander after Esau, when you wander after Babylon the Great, guess what? That means your name is not written in the book of life. That's why you admire them. That's why you want to be like them. That's why you want to copy them. Understand, brother and sister? So let no man deceive you. All right? Let no man fool you. All right? Keep in mind. Right? When they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth is a 7 land, 7 nations, or 7 different group of people. That is so Edom they sat upon. All right? Is a spiritual, is a dark saying. Let's jump right here. I'm going to go straight to the point. Let's jump to verse 16. Actually, let's read right here, verse 14. This shall make, this is the book of Revelation 17 and 14. This shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So you got to keep in mind, man. We got to make our election sure. Every day, every minute, every second. We got to make our election sure, man. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, right? Because remember in the beginning right here, he's talking about what? He talking about water, sit upon many waters, right? Sit upon many water in the verses 1. Sit upon many water on the verses 1. I told you, the water is not talking about literally water, okay? Because I've seen a lot of you breaking it down, right? I see a lot of you breaking it down, saying that, when a lot of you breaking it down where you say in the Christian church that where there's 7 mountains, 7 rivers, 7 what? No, it's not talking about that. All right, the Bible explains itself. The Bible explains itself. The Bible explains itself, and let's go to it. Let's read it. All right, this is the book of Revelation. Right, this is the precept, the breakdown for Revelation 17 and verses 1. This is the breakdown. All right. Right? Let's read it. Verses 15. He said, and he said unto me, the water which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples. There we go, plain and simple. plain and simple. The Bible explains itself, right? So this water represents people. It represents nations. Nation and people, understand that. All right, let's read it. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whole, where America could control, cities are people, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Imagine all those things, man. That's how you know it's not the Roman Catholic Church. You know why? Because let me give you understanding. The Roman Catholic Church, they don't rule over the Arabs. Do they rule over the Arabs? They don't rule over the Arabs. Who rule over the Arabs? America. The so-called white people, they rule over Arab. Who rule? That's the Roman Catholic Church. Do they rule over the Chinese? The Roman Catholic Church, they don't rule over the Chinese. So guess what? Who rule over the Chinese? Who dictate their weakness to the Chinese? America, the so-called white people. You gotta understand, man. It's plain and simple. It's not complicated, right? They show you on your TV all day long. You turn on your TV today, you see they'll be talking about the conflict right now. Taiwan versus China, USA backing up Taiwan, and the list goes on and on, man. The Taliban, right? Peace talk with the Taliban. Who is behind it? Who is behind it? Who is? Have you seen the Pope going into the Taliban and talking to them? No. The Taliban, they went to the Arabs. They went to the Arabs. Understand? So it cannot be the Roman Catholic Church, because the Roman Catholic Church mainly only ruled over the so-called blacks, Latino and Native mainly, man. The Roman Catholic Church don't rule over the Arabs, no. They don't rule over the Chinese. They don't rule over the Japanese. Who rule over the Chinese, the Japanese? Who rule over everybody? So-called white people, man. It's mainly Babylon the Great, America, the whole, man. This whole rule over everybody. Everybody is scared of the United States of America. Everybody's scared of them. Every single country you see on this earth, they're scared. They're scared. That's why when Babylon the Great tell them to do something, guess what? They do it very fast. Because they don't want to be destroyed. They don't want to be blown up by bombs, drones. They don't want that. They don't want economic sanction. They don't want that, man. Don't you see what been happening to Venezuela? Because Venezuela, Maduro, he got a zeal for the Most High, just like he does not do according to the word. Maduro, he won't bow down to Esau. So Esau, he has been oppressing Maduro and the people and the brother in Venezuela for a minute. So you got to keep in mind, man. All right? Let's read it. He said, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, upon the so-called white people, this shall head the whole. So eventually they're going to head them. Maybe Germany, maybe France, maybe England, maybe New Zealand, maybe Canada, maybe Russia, maybe China. They're going to head Babylon the Great. They're going to head Babylon the Great. They're going to head Babylon the Great, man. And that's what you got to keep in mind. That's what you got to keep in mind. That eventually right now, they got a deal. They got a deal, right? Right now, they got bilateral relation. Man, they're cool. You know, they got business. They got deal. Guess what? Eventually, the Most High moved the spirit upon these people. And they're going to turn against Babylon. They're going to turn against Babylon to cut it off, man. And that's what our people ain't ready for. Our people ain't ready for it. They're not prepared for what is about to come down. Our people are at ease right now. They're comfy. Let's finish it up. He said, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, upon Esau, Edom, these shall head the whole. They're going to head Babylon the Great, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh. Imagine that. Now, when he says they're going to eat her flesh, it's not literally talking about cooking and eating. No. They're gonna waste it. They're gonna cut it up. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. That's what we're reading, man. All right? It's going to be destroyed. All right? And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Imagine. Eventually, they're going to burn Babylon with fire, man. They're going to burn Babylon with the fire. Imagine that, man. For Yahweh has put in their heart to fulfill his will. Because if it's only up to them, they'll never do that, man. If it's only up to the Chinese, to the German, the French, the Canadian, the list goes on, they'll never burn Babylon the Great. But the Most High, eventually, he's going to move the Spirit upon them. And they're going to do it for the Most High. You see? That's how mighty is the Most High Yahweh. Now we got to fear the Most High. That's how serious, that's how terrible is the Most High Yahweh, man. Now we got to obey the Most High and fear him and make sure that we're keeping the commandment. Not just running around deceiving our own self. But we got to make sure that we're keeping the commandment of the Most High Yahweh. Right? Let's see, say what? For Yahweh has put in their heart to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. Right? Until the word of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reign over the kings of the earth. Over the kings of the earth. Right? Over the kings of the earth. Who rule over the kings of the earth? Who rule over every country? Who rule over the Peruvians? Who rule over the Arabs? Who rule over the Egyptians? Right? Who rule over the Taliban? Who rule over them is America, the United States of America. This is Babylon, man. This is Babylon the Great. They rule over the whole world. All right? You see that? There we go, man. Reign over the kings of the earth. The kings of the earth, right? And after this thing, I saw another angel. This is the book of Revelation 18:1. And after this thing, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is falling. Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great is falling, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird, hateful nation, hateful people. You find them here in Babylon the Great, man. You always find them here in America. You will always find them right here in America. Keep in mind. All right? You're always going to find them right here, man. Right? You're always going to find them right here. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All the nations. Not only Israel. Not only the Israel. He said all nations. All nations have drunken. Everybody have worshipped Babylon the Great. Everybody worship Babylon the Great. Everybody worship Babylon the Great. Right? And the kings, he said, for all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth was rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So guess what? How many people do business with Italy? Not many. What do they buy from Italy? Pasta? Nobody wants pasta necessary from Italy. They gotta buy pasta probably, but guess what? People don't care this day. Everybody make pasta, right? The Asian, they make their own pasta now, right? You go in the Middle East, the so-called Hamite, the Arab, right? So like the Hamite, actually, or the so-called African, they all make their own pasta right now, man. They all make their pasta these days. So how many people do business with Italy? Well, is that a Versace? Is that a Gucci? The Maserati? Hey, It's not that important. Not many people. Mainly it's for the rich people. But we're talking about what? On a large scale. On a large scale, everybody do business with what? With which country? With the US, man. The Italian, they have big business with the American. You gotta keep in mind. That's how you know that it cannot be the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church, they ain't got no business. What business do they have? What are they selling? Are they selling the idols? Ain't nobody buying the idol from them except for the sample of our people, man. The only people that will buy the idol from the Roman Catholic Church are the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian, man. Esau, even though that's his religion, they don't buy that. They don't follow that. You understand? The Arab don't buy idol from the Catholic Church. But they buy from who? From America. All right? He said, well, the oil, the merchant of the earth was rich through the abundance of her delicacy. You see that? And that's what has happened, man. The U.S. have so much delicacy. There ain't no delicacy in Rome. What delicacy? The pizza? Is that your pizza? Is that the pizza you're going to eat over there? I've been in Italy, buddy. They do got a good pizza. Bad pasta, bad pizza. Hey, the list goes on and on. But guess what? They ain't got no delicacy, man. You know the delicacy of the U.S., Babylon the Great? Man, is